All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to week number 2 of the Newell CSGO Spring Championship. We are just getting into the knife here of Warwick. I believe this is the first team up against Bath A, who some of you may have recognised from last season as being the runners-up in the Winter Championship. So it does bode well for them going into this. They've got a bit of a precedent of being a rather strong team, and I am, of course, this evening joined by my good friend John. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing just fine. I'm really excited to get back in the chair for some CS:GO at the Newell. As you say, Warwick versus. They forgot to put their team tag on actually. So
yeah,
we'll no doubtly just call them terrorists for the rest of this game. But I like to see the team tags. They're unanimous across Warwick. Got Olaf Meister, which I quite like as a name. I think that's going to go very well for them moving into this game. I think it's going to bode well for them. Hopefully they're going to stay on a cold snap rather than feel the heat.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just getting into things, the pistol beginning in just a second here. The knife round went the way of Warwick, so they, of course, picking that CT side. Classically, overpass considered CT sided, but I think you can definitely have a good go of things on the T side if you know your executes and whatnot. Very early pick from Olaf Meister. Nice little witty name there, I suppose. But either way, it should easy for them going into the latter stages of the round now after getting that initial pick.
Yeah, they had quite an aggressive push up from Warwick, and they were able to make it pay off for them. They spotted out the push coming through towards bathrooms as well. Olaf Meister holding back on the site. They do leave someone over to B, and that should pay off. They should hear those footsteps. Skeletal calling that out to his teammates as they push on through the short. Will he be able to land any headshots? Has to fall back on towards, off of the site, rather. So they do get the plant on towards B-bomb site.
Bomb gone down. There is a kit in the hands of Somewhat, and he's got 2 flashes as well. So the bomb is down, but the man advantage strongly in favor of the CT side here. So they all just come rushing in. Somewhat going to get on that defuse as well. 5 versus 2 here. And I think that's probably going to be the round going towards Warwick. They cannot stop the defuse at all, and eventually all the players will fall. So the one saving grace of getting that bomb down, I suppose, the extra $800. They now have the decision to make whether they force up, which I think recently we've seen a little bit coming into the meta, but it is kind of more conventional to just straight up save in the second round after getting the bomb plant, and then you pull out the AKs around early.
Yeah, I'm going to be pushing on up again. An aggressive position from Olaf Meister up towards Fountain, but they think better of it. Picking up that M4 in the second round will get flashed, pushed ever further back. They do have some ground to gain, and it looks like they're going to take that with open arms, but they have got a range disadvantage here. They are playing pistols into that rifle from Olaf, and they're going to kill their own teammates. They're going to be even a worse of a situation. See if they can pick it up, but they've dropped the bomb already.
5 versus 2 now as well. Just easy eco frags here. Somewhat picking himself 2 kills. Does eventually go down in the end there. So I suppose Mystery getting a bit of money for himself as well. But ultimately, a bit of a throwaway round, right? And it's from the terrorists, and it's one of those key conversion rounds that Warwick need to be winning. You know, you get that pistol, you need to solidify your economy, make sure you don't lose too many players, especially in this situation where you're going to now be going up against these AKs. And with only one player going down, they're able to easily buy up and make sure that they've got themselves 3 M4s. And everyone on that CT side as well is fully utilitized, and everyone's got a kit. So it looks really good for them if they can get these initial frags, getting aggressive on Sewers here. Ooh, Ricochet does spot out Harold, but will get taken down somewhat as well as there to make sure that he can't get traded so easily. Mystery does win one back for his team, but it's a 4 versus 3. The bomb firmly towards T-spawn as well, so not much ground here being made for the terrorists.
You do have control of Connector, however, a very pivotal part of this map. Overpass relies heavily on your ability to move through it and be adaptable to the situation, and it's a little bit of a bad situation, but they have, as you say, they've got 3 AKs. They can land those headshots. They can push onto the site. Harold will be first to face if he spots it out. Does take a little bit of flack for it, but the flashbang will just see him safe back on over, and it looks like they are going to use that connector control to their advantage, potentially. So they do rotate back on through towards the A site.
A lot of grenade damage being done as well. Marshmallow tagged down to 48 HP, so Musty here with a good little jump spot. You can see towards short, you can also see towards long. More nade damage coming in here as they're trying to get some control over towards, say, a bomb site. They've only got a couple of smokes left, though. Marshmallow finding the head of Olaf Meister does bode well. The bomb going down now, and Musty just kind of waiting for his teammates here. Doesn't want to get too overzealous and lose his life. He's got Harold on the flank to possibly help him out. And Skeletor's going to come and pick up SOS over towards Optimus. The bomb is in that classic plant spot, and there's no smoke for the CTs here, so they're going to have to either find the kills or hope that they can somehow pull off this defuse. And it's being played so very well by the T side here. They're just peeking out, picking up tags, eventually a kill for Mystery, and now Musty on 8 HP. And he can't get anything done, unfortunately. So the first gun round going the way of Bath A there. A little bit close to the wire, I suppose, but at this point, getting the win is the most important thing.
Yeah, nice little pickup for them. That was the strength of having that connector control. They were able to move through the map and readjust their situation to their advantage. They were able to get that frag, opening it up onto the A-bomb site, making sure that they had that position, taking the split-up fights, which meant that that 4-man to 3-man advantage didn't really come into play at all. And they were able to pull it off and pull it out the hat relatively smoothly. They do go aggressive out of connector. Does get shut down almost immediately. Only a pistol and a volley of fire will see to it that Olaf Meister will stand no longer. They do push on to the B side.
It should be quite simple here. In the end, Harold and somewhat with a nice little crossfire, actually, do pick up a couple of kills, getting their hands on a UMP as well. So doing damage, keeping pressure on that economy, and possibly able to take the round here. The defuse is being held. Mystery picks it up through the smoke, finds the head of somewhat as well. And he will also pick up the triple onto Musty. So not too bad of a round from the CT side, considering they didn't buy too much into it. You know, and you want to make sure that you're kind of forcing 1 or 2 players to buy up every round so that you can keep the pressure on the economy and make sure that when it comes down to a gun round like this, that you have a chance to kind of destroy the economy and pick up a few rounds after picking up the win, right? It's all a little bit hypothetical, but those small kills and instances can really make a big difference.
See if they are able to make a big difference in this round as well. A nice hold on the site brings the score level even, but Harold is able to get the first frag off already, kicking. They've lost a player on the push, and they have got that MAC-10 as well, so they are at a disadvantage when it comes to their arsenal. They swap that out for the AK. But once more, they have control of this connector position. Once more, they can move through the map if they so choose. They have the pick of the litter. Trying to boost up over to C on towards that B site, but they aren't going to gain any intel. And back on through connector they go. We've seen this happen before, and we've seen Warwick crumble to it. Olaf Meister again, playing up by the truck. You've got Musty waiting as well on the A-bomb site. They're going to go for the split push along both bathrooms and long, but whether or not they'll be able to make it work for them a second time. I think Warwick have figured something out because they've rotated a player already over towards that A site. They're going to go for the take.
Really need to find these early kills here as well. SOS picks up Musty. Against all the odds, he was on pretty low HP there. There's so many smokes on this site right now. It's absolute chaos. Ricochet pushing through one. Finds Olaf, and Marshmallow helps out as well. So now in a 4 versus 2 situation. But Mystery, SOS, Ricochet, all on reasonably low HPs. Although with this AWP on the retake, it really doesn't matter what HP they're on. So it looks like Warwick have made a call to save here. No utility at all, really, and just the one kit. They don't really fancy going for it. And their economy as well, take a quick look at that, is quite weak, right? So they're not going to have money to buy up into this next round. They may decide to force around the rifles that they're now saving. But yet again, another round going the way of that terrorist side. And I mean, it's just kind of the beauty of Overpass. You talk about the controlling connector. They're able to just fluidly move around, do a little bit of damage, make a bit of noise towards B, and then quickly go towards A. And it's just a few smokes and obviously hitting your shots, very easily able to gain control of that A bomb site and just take the round.
Just a quick note: do we have game sound?
I'm pretty sure, yes.
I believe we do, but I wanted to double check because there's someone in the chat saying that we may or may not have done, but hopefully we do already. They might just be baiting me, and I probably have already been successfully baited. I was
sort of thinking that as well, to be fair.
Congratulations. All right, well, let's get back into the game then, as they are just going to, again, go for a relatively passive start now. They haven't opted to go towards that B-bomb site. They have lost a lot of those early trades over towards the site. If they don't opt to go for that, they can keep that man advantage, and their A executes have been very clean. They've been able to push on through. They've been able to find the chinks in the armor of the Warwick side, and it's been going very well for them. So if they choose to go for that again, I see them doing quite well, but it looks like once more they're just going to try and take control of water, try and take control of that connector position, and see what they can get done with it.
Well, Warwick are playing, even in the gun rounds, they're playing a very, very passive setup. No one's getting aggressive on A. They had that one round where they got aggressive towards short, and it did work out somewhat, but they ended up losing the round in the end. So I think they are lacking confidence a little bit and just allowing Bath to sort of run all over them. And if you give Bath this control, what we're seeing here is they're able to take these rounds quite easily, right? Because they do have the caliber of players to be able to do that.
Warwick seems to have their own caliber of players.
Now. Yeah, I mean, it's getting pretty close at the moment. Harold as well with the kit and the M4 in hand. Ooh, Mystery though, flicking to the head, finds him somewhat now on 30 HP. He's not found the kit either. He's got to deal with the AWPer. Biceps going for a bit of a no-scope. I believe it's Deep Fry, actually. But now in the one-on-one, no kit, though, for somewhat, as mentioned previously. So he's just going to have to run away and unfortunately lose the round out. But again, keeping it close here, you know, keeping the economy quite tight for that T side. And he does manage to save the AWP as well. So not all bad, considering it was a round that maybe they didn't quite expect to win with only having 2 bought-up players. But still, there are some winnable situations here that maybe Warwick should be taking, and the pressure's just getting to them when it comes down to those very close cut situations.
They do have some very strong sort of close-up plays. I mean, we saw them earlier on in the game get some crossfires with those pistols. Just then as well, we saw that water play going through, and they evened it out. And then it just feels like they get that initial burst, and then they're like, oh, what do we do with it now? And then they can't quite pull it out of the bag. And they do get these early picks as well, and they get that steam early on, but they can't sustain it through the rest of the round. And I think that's what Bath are really capitalizing on. Harold has to take the face against 2. We'll see better days as his teammate falls to follow. Somewhat has gone down once more, and now they've evened up the kill count.
I feel like that should have been a double for Somewhat, honestly. They weren't expecting him to be there. First player was lit, so a relatively easy kill, but he just can't connect the spray onto the second. Really could have turned the tide of the round, but we'll see. It's still in a 3 versus 3. So there's definitely a chance here for Warwick to do something. SOS really not sure where he's getting shot from there, but tagged down to 16 HP either way. Minute remaining now, and I think B control is safely in the hands of Bath. Whether they're able to get into decent post-plan positions, though, is another question. Olaf Meister is so very close here. Does get taken down reloading. Quickly traded back, however. So it's into a 2 versus 2, and SOS, like I mentioned, is on 16 HP, so definitely doable for the CT side right now. They've got a kit in hand. No smoke to kind of cover that ninja defuse at the moment. Going to push towards Monster and try and find the kills. SOS is so lucky to still be alive. 2 terrorists both playing from here. SOS finds Musty, so it's all on Skeletal right now. He finds one. The bomb, though, the 10-second timer has gone off, so he's got to hold it, and SOS plays it so beautifully. Takes him down and wins yet another round for Bath.
A fine rotate there, back along the sewer to actually push through Monster and go for that double face. That was really, really intelligent on the side of Bath, because they were able to take that double face, confuse the person peeking them, and actually came out with a kill. And from that point on, it was a 2v1. That AWP shot was really good. It brought it even, but as you say, the time was just not there for Warwick, and so they couldn't stick it on the defuse. And once more, they find themselves in the situation where they have to go for this pistol semi-buy, really, and look to the next round, give over even more of that scoreline that seems to be just whittling away at the morale. Musty pushing on through, but Mystery is there, and he's making short work of that. Musty does trade it back for one, but they've already lost two.
Ooh, there's a nice bit of damage being done here, though. So definitely an opportunity to pick up a couple kills, maybe save a rifle. And it, you know, a crazy turn of events, possibly win the round, but that's all remains to be seen at this point. But yeah, I think Warwick, again, it is kind of this passive nature that they're playing with. They're really not gaining the info that you need to win on the CT half. And through the smoke here, finds the head eventually. Harold will drop the bomb there, so definitely a chance now for the T side to be losing this one, in all honesty, especially as Mystery going down as well. Marshmallow holding, SOS rather, picks up the kill on the flank. So it's back into a 2-on-2. Harold's on pretty low HP, but that bomb is still out in the open here. And they're not altogether sure where they're playing from. Skeletal going to pick up Marshmallow. Now it's all on SOS with this AWP. He's aware of the position of both of the players. He's got to find the shots. I mean, if he misses one shot here, it's probably going to be the end of him. And the bomb as well, again, is still in that obscure location. He's got to push and make noise to get the bomb down, and there's someone right next to where it's being dropped there. So he's only got 15 seconds remaining on the clock here, and I think, is he running? He's saving.
Yeah, he's going to back off. He doesn't have time to go for anything else. Some excellent up-close and personal play there from Harold with that deagle, playing through the smoke, knew where the bomb was from that point on. They hadn't got the plant, so they had the position on the site. It was a brilliant hold there. You're going to see they both pick up those AKs. Going for that semi-buy massively paid off here, and you can see that Bath as well, their economy is being limited. Like, they might be, you know, they've got 2 rounds advantage, but they're very similar in terms of what they're bringing to the table on their economy. Both teams will have been reset now, so it's going to be the case that it's pretty much whoever wins this will win the next 2, maybe 3 rounds. And you can see double AWP actually being picked up for Bath. So Mystery taking that second AWP, popping the scopes over towards Birthday, and seeing if he can get any picks. A very, very nice round there from Warwick. I have to say that was some excellent predictions there coming out from Harold, and the fact that he was able to get 2 kills with that deagle is unforgivable for Bath, and they need to tighten that one up.
Yeah, you can't really rely on plays like that, though. I think it's important to point out. It is a good round, and it's always nice to win. Really good for kind of the morale of the team. But relying on individual plays, especially off the back of a round where, you know, they're through smoke and some slightly lucky kills, perhaps, it doesn't necessarily give you a precedent going into the later rounds that you're actually now going to start winning things back. So as you mentioned, this round is very, very important for how this half is going to turn out for both teams, because the economies of both teams not really ideal to suffer a loss. So they need to win this one in order to kind of either get back into it if you're on the side of Warwick, or to start running away with the half. And an opening pick from Olafmeister really does bode well for that Warwick side.
Going to hold ever stronger. Mystery not able to do so much damage with that AWP yet. In fact, no damage at all has been done to the Warwick side. And there's only 30 seconds left on the clock. They need to go for this execute. At this point, they're committed to B site, and that's somewhat spotting out 3 players over towards water. They're going to be full-on rotating here because they need to go for the push. Skeletal finds the first frag on the push. Somewhat chimes in as well, and now Harold's playing up close and personal once again. Channeling his inner Deagle Demon from the previous round, finds the headshot, and they're just going to close it out around it. 4 rounds now on the board for Warwick, and Bath going to be forced to an eco.
Yeah, really confusing round from Bath, honestly. They lose that initial player. They have all this utility and the double AWP setup. Really don't utilize it in any way, not trying to play like long angles. They leave themselves with barely any time to get the bomb down. And then you have these 2 players on the AWP just rushing into a bomb site, and especially the B bomb site where there are quite a few closed out angles. It's quite difficult to find those kills. You know, you end up kind of playing the melee range AWP, right? So a little bit confusing from them, but going into this round, they just decide to go for the straight up B rush. They have forced, able to pick up 3 rifles, but 2 players on the pistols. Very little utility as well. Managed to get the bomb down, so that's not all bad. But now, I mean, all 10 players left. It surely has to go the way of Warwick here, because they out utility the enemy team. They've also all got kits and superior weaponry.
Yeah, they are all clustered up, though. There's 3 players playing down low. There's only 1 player playing up high from heaven, and SOS opens it up. Olafmeister has dropped down. They will start to flank on towards the site, and these kills are coming through for the terrorists. They're starting to land the headshots. Mystery's on a tear. Finds the 3rd as well, and the terrorists take the force here on round number 10.
That is so sad to see for Warwick, honestly. You know, in my mind, I'm thinking they have to surely take that, but like you say, they were all just kind of clumped together. There was no one on a flank. There was no one coming from short or monster. You know, the connector area. They just all went together and hoped that they could maybe hit the shots, and some slightly close range angles playing into the hands of those. I believe it was SOS with the CZ. Picks up that initial kill, and then all from there, you know, Mystery as well, finding the shots as he has been all game. But they just kind of make it easy for him because they're all running straight towards him and not really able to trade because there's so many players and so much going on from all that one angle. I mean, one flank coming in, picking up Mystery in that situation from Monster as he's looking towards heaven and water there, then, you know, the round could possibly have gone the way of Warwick. So I think the one-dimensional retake really not working out in the end for Warwick.
It was only from the one angle, and they absolutely paid the price for it. Let's see if they pay the price again. Deep Fry opens it up onto a bomb site. They get 2 picks to open up the site. Harold, though, ever present, ever watchful, ever waiting, finds another kill. A lot of damage already done to the T side, and they've got Skeletal over towards the bank as well. They do have a very good position here to go for the retake. More than one front this time. And it looks like they're actually going to be taking onto one front as well, as all the players grouped up towards mid. Marshmallow takes an early dive. There's only a combined total of 34 HP on the side of the terrorists. Some quick math there for you, but it's not going to matter as SOS finds 2. He is going to go for the spray, turns it on for a second, finds the 3rd as well, and some brilliant spray downs coming through. The terrorists see them up to the 7 points.
So this is when, you know, those individual plays can really turn the tide of rounds when it comes to the post-plant situations and those clutch situations, and how important that is, right? Again, for this whole team morale situation, but within the confines of the game as well. Denying the round, obviously, but also picking up all the players in such a one-sided kind of fashion there is going to destroy the economy. As you can see here, the CT side getting absolutely reset, not able to save anything at all. And it's kind of the old fake kind of play in a certain, the dupe kind of play there, where they're not going to play all 3 of the remaining players towards bathroom. Surely there's got to be one towards long, you know, and the CTs on the retake are going to be thinking that in their head and not quite sure of where to check, and that allows SOS to come out and just easily find the kills there.
And they're going to start the kills again this round. Harold goes down early. No close-up plays this time, my friend. They are, again, just playing quite nice and passively. The stack over towards the B bomb site from Warwick means that A site is just completely free for the taking. And they're just gonna pinch it. Bath are just gonna be swarming over that A site. The retake will be coming around the long. Ricochet, we first to spot it out. Olaf does go down, but is traded actually out by Skeletal. A nice rifle pickup there. Wouldn't be surprised if they just go for the save on that one. Push the rest of their players in, try and get some exit frags. SOS not able to land the shots anymore. Takes the dink on the headshot and falls on back. 23 HP left. Is playing a little bit more passively. You can see they aren't going for the straight up pushes, but Marshmallow is going to spot out a little bit of over-aggression from Musty, and they are just going to close it down. The round inevitably going over to Bath here, as Warwick do have to try and find some exit frags, and they actually managed to pick up another one onto Deep Fry. Going to be somewhat happy with that one, as they do pick up a second rifle, potentially. Skeletal trying to take the trade, and they're able to take yet another gun out of the hands of the Bath side. That's a brilliant amount of economic damage they've done, although there is still quite a little bit of bankroll left. Mystery on that 9k. Deep Fry has 6k. They're going to be plenty okay for this next round, and it's towards the end of the half. It should be all right for them.
I mean, this is another round, though, where the economy is quite important, and losing so many players at the tail end of the previous round eats into the economy. And if Warwick are able to take this round, then they can definitely have a good chance to pick up a few more rounds, possibly make it an 8-7. A good start from Skeletal as well to pick up Mystery. Somewhat, though, just completely overwhelmed. Kills go in the way of Bath at the moment, a 3 versus 2 as they gain control of that B bomb site. The remaining 2 CT players coming in from sewers, possibly able to take this. SOS is on low HP as well, but the AWP in his hands, he's not too bothered about that one. The old Bogdan Law as it goes. Musty with the kit in hand as well, possibly going to go for a bit of a ninja defuse here, but unfortunately, a little bit of GoTV lag on my side there, but a pretty nice spray down from Marshmallow and Ricochet ends that one out. So I feel like now is it going to be 10-5 or is it going to be 11-4 towards Bath? Because I feel like they have to take this round at the very least, because that economy on the CT side, there are some players with money, but not everyone has enough to buy up. So they're just going to go for a bit of a quasi-buy.
Yeah, especially on that CT side, it's a little bit more costly to invest. Obviously, you've got the M4 costing 3.1k, and then you have to buy a defuse kit to be fully bought. So going for these half buys is a little bit more common on that CT side. Deagle's getting picked up left and right, but Harold takes an early fall, as does Musty. The reload, though, will be a saver there for Olaf Meister as he's able to trade it back. Deagle finds the kill, Skeletal pushes down, and they just clean it up. A very quick round there coming out from Bath. Not much in the way of resistance being put up from the Warwick side. But as you say, is it going to be 11-4? Is it going to be 10-5? Warwick need to put all of their money where their mouth is in this round.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's a good kind of cash builder sort of round. I suppose the term I tend to use is conversion rounds, because they're kind of like the rounds that you should be taking to solidify your scoreline. When you're up against the weaker weaponry of the enemy team. But these are the rounds where it really, really does count. And the early kill from Deep Fright over towards short there. Harold getting a little bit aggressive alone, so he's completely punished for that one, and the enemy team completely unpunished. Doesn't bode well going into the latter stages of this half. It's an AWP in the hands of Skeletal, so maybe a chance to win a couple of kills back. Olaf as well seems to be reliable at getting aggressive on his own, unlike his teammate Harold, unfortunately. So he evens up the man advantage in favor of Warwick.
They do have, yeah, as you say, they have got the man advantage. They evened it up. They got a pick early on. Bath managed to open it up, and they didn't really go for anything. You can see only now they're starting to push onto the B bomb site with 50 seconds left on the clock, and someone's going to spot it out. They're going to trade on through, but Warwick come out on top of these sprays. Ricochet, though, he is not done just yet. The bomb will get planted on the B bomb site. A 2 versus 2 retake. Musty needs to wait for those reinforcements as Olaf Meister drops down low. Will be followed up. They are going from the same angle yet again. We've seen this before. The last time Bath cleaned it up. Ricochet and Mystery both fragging heavily for their team. Stiff competition for Musty and Olaf Meister to start pushing on the defuse. Fake starts to go through. Ricochet turns the corner, finds one. The enemy is flashbanged as well. Tries to push down, but he still has Mystery contend with. 1 versus 1. The smoke comes through. Mystery, here's the defuse, but he's not hitting it. Is he going to be able to stick it? Musty, he's going to be pushed through the smoke, but it's not going to be quick enough. And that is Warwick to get the ninja defuse as the smoke blocks off the vision.
I feel like maybe that decision from Mystery to push through the smoke there should have come a little bit earlier. If you don't land that initial spray down through the smoke where you think he's defusing from in the first, couple seconds of that defuse, then you have to push through and find him. And there may have been a chance, because I think in that situation, the time was so far gone that the defuse had to be held, right? So yeah, a little bit of a lack in judgment perhaps from Mystery, but still a good half on that T side of Overpass from Bath. And they've definitely got, all their best players firing on all cylinders. Mystery and Ricochet having some really great rounds.
Well, let's see if Warwick are going to have some great rounds on their T side as well. SOS, an early fallback, an early call as well to the rest of his team should come through as the aggression through the mid, straight down like a spearhead, comes out from the Warwick team. But SOS lands the headshot as the team starts to rotate around in Bath. Have answered the call of their leader, and Olaf Meister is first onto the site, but that's not going to go well for him. Not too much damage being done as well, and they're just dropping left and right. Musty, over in the bathrooms, will find himself the first kill for his team, but is he going to be able to find the second? Lands the head. He is going to get his teammate shut down as well, and now it's 1 versus 3. He doesn't have the sight. He does have the sight lines, though, and that is going to be the headshot landed onto SOS. They can't go for the defuse without taking the fight first. They're running low on time. They need to push him now, and they need to do it well, but Musty is there. He's ready and waiting, lands the headshot. Will he spot out the defuse? I don't think he's seen it. He is unaware. He doesn't see that the enemy is there, and the defuse will go through. That is an absolutely catastrophic mistake for Musty as he loses the pistol round, and Marshmallow nearly not even dying. Not even going to spot it down. Oh no, Musty. That's absolutely devastating.
That is so heartbreaking. I think, you know, obviously he gets the ace in the end, always nice, but that should have been his round. They didn't have a kit in the end there. He picks up all the players coming towards him, trying to, you know, kind of body block or kill him so that they can get the defuse in. And I feel like the plan from the terrorist side was slightly off-center from that default spot. So the angle that it was being diffused from was slightly more towards the right, so it was difficult where Musty was peeking for him to see that player defusing the bomb, and he just wasn't peeking quite wide enough to pick it up. So absolutely heartbreaking. Looking pretty good going into this round, though. Not able to get the bomb plant, unfortunately, but it's into a 3 versus 2.
They did manage to get 5 kills, remember, as well. But these M4s, you just can't hide from them sometimes, and he's going to be somewhat dead. Musty, last man left standing, has that FAMAS on board in his back pocket, has picked that one up off the fallen Ricochet. 1 minute left on the clock. They do know pretty much exactly where he is. They spotted him out. Turns the corner, tries to go for the spray, but he's versus 2, finds 1. Not too many bullets left in the clip, though. Needs to go for the reload. Pops it back, and 46 seconds left now. Means that the bomb on the A site is going to be very difficult for him to pick up. A lot of health as well. Marshmallow with that M4, it's far too tricky to go for this take. I think he should just be falling back to save here.
I think he's definitely contemplating it, right? He's definitely not going for the round, but he's sort of thinking, if I can do a bit more damage here, you know, got the ace in last round, maybe I can get another one, and doesn't really want to save entirely. I'm not quite sure. The FAMAS as well is not like anything to write home about. There's definitely a chance. Unfortunately, he's not able to even pick up the first player there. I was going to say there was a chance at perhaps a double spray down over towards Optimus, over towards the truck over there, but unfortunately not for Musty. But I think one thing to consider, right, from that pistol round as well, is that he individually, pardon me, individually might be a little bit kind of tilted. You know, that he did all that work, still not able to win out the round. And in a way, it's his own fault that they didn't win out the round as well. So I think he's really going to be kicking himself. And it could be costly towards, you know, the communication within the team, which definitely at this point seems stronger on the Bath side anyway. So, you know, that round could really, really turn the tide of how this game ends up.
Yeah, it was a little bit disappointing, but it seems like they're not letting that go to heart just yet. Harold already taking pressure over towards the connector, allows Warwick a little bit of a foothold to try and launch themselves into whichever site they choose to go for. Looks like they're going to be moving over towards B a little bit. Ricochet stepping up again to where his teammate died, but has already taken down to 15 HP. Has to fall back to the B bomb site. Gives them even more ground to play with. SOS will have spotted out the player over towards Long. They do know a little bit about what's going on, but the bomb's lining up. They're going for the site take on the A side of the map. They have got 5. They will be coming up against 2, but the flashbang doesn't sell quite right, and that might prove costly.
Going in towards this A bomb site. All the smokes are down. Bomb plant coming in as well. Marshmallow trying to get something done through the smoke, but in fact will be returned himself. The trace is being followed by Skeletal. Ricochet picking up the first kill for his team, but in the 4 versus 2 retake at the moment. No kits either, and Ricochet on 15 HP. I think the call to save has been made. So Warwick win their first round of the T side and get themselves on the board in this second half. I mean, it's a monumentous hill to climb at this point, honestly, because they're just going to have to keep winning those rounds and this next round make sure that they don't lose too many players, start getting that economy rolling. It's a little bit easier on the T side, in fairness. But against a team like Bath, where, you know, as I mentioned, the communication and their reactive style of play can be very, very difficult to play against if you're not prepared for it.
Ooh, does manage to get the frag onto Harold, but isn't going to be able to pick up the AK. That would have been a nice little bonus as well, given that FAMAS not super strong into these sort of seminal rounds of the half. Moving on to the fourth one of this one. Those FAMAS is not going to be as strong as the AKs or the M4s will be. And you can see they are lacking in that weaponry as well. Marshmallow and Deep Fry both sitting on those CZs. They are going to be seeing what they can make happen. Harold, again, over towards the connector position, will be coming up against 3. So it's going to be him for the linchpin of the game, and it's going to be SOS to make sure that linchpin is not clean out of its seating.
It's a crime that he gets away with that. The flashbang was terrible. Almost blinded up the teammates. Olafmeister does trade it back, but will eventually go down there in the end. So I think that first initial kill really kind of turning the tide of this round. A lot of control as well. If you can get connector control, I think this is something that Bath recognized from their own T side. They were given so much connector control by the CTs, and they were able to do so much damage with it. Somewhat picking up one, just flying straight out of there, though. Definitely does put a spanner in the works. So back into a 3 versus 3. But still, you're scaring the T's away, so they are forced into a different section of the map. And they've got a lot of players, well, all the players coming up long, a little bit stagnated as well, trying to get onto this A bomb site. Mystery is just hiding around the edge of this smoke. Gonna pick up Musty. He's not able to find the second, but Marshmallow as well is actually going to try and get a bit aggressive. Goes down in the end there. So the low HP of these two CT players bodes well for Warwick. Somewhat finds Mystery, but now on the flank, SOS certainly does need to save the souls of Warwick, that's for sure, because 2 clean headshots from long, not expecting it at all, and he will win the round out for Bath.
The position being called out by his teammate there allowed him to go for the beautiful flank, able to just line him up, as you say, popped one head, popped the other, and that was all she wrote. A nice retake there coming out for SOS, keeping them even further into the lead here. 13 rounds now on the board. They have the opportunity to try and take the gun round, of course. Remember, that round was off the back of a loss, which means they were disadvantaged in their weaponry. That M4 save from the previous round proved absolutely crucial. They made it work for them, and now it's going to be Warwick who have to take the 2CZ build.
Yeah, and at this stage in the game, when they have so many rounds between the two teams, you know, Warwick really needed that round to begin their comeback, really. And I think from this point on, they're probably going to have to keep buying no matter what happens. Otherwise, they will really, really have their backs against the wall. So again, this round, obviously every round you need to win, right? But this round is incredibly important for Warwick, so that they can get that reset and then start building up a few rounds, closing the gap, and possibly evening up the scoreline.
Aggressive push up towards the A-bomb site. Warwick leading the charge. They drop their signature smokes down, but it's going to be Marshmallow actually trying to go in for the knife. Someone will clean it up. A lot of damage done, but not enough, unfortunately, to find the kill. Retake starting to come through as Harold on the backside, able to stop the flank coming out as well. Bath struggling now to go for this retake. They do call it off. They do go back towards that B-bomb site. That was a very over-aggressive play from Marshmallow. I don't like how he played that. He went far too far forwards instead of waiting for his teammates, and he paid the price. I mean, he went for the knife. He went for the style
Yeah,
point, but it just didn't go well.
Getting the kill there definitely could have paid out for his team, right? You deny the bomb plant, it's out in the open, and we saw there was a round, you know, where Harold with the deagle, right, in the first half, where a very similar situation, the bomb got dropped, and they were able to kind of control the situation because that open area in front of the A-bomb site. But yeah, I mean, going for the knife, perhaps a little bit cocky, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the right
stage. They've got a lot of rounds for sure, but again, every round counts. You know, you don't want to give Warwick the opportunity to get back into it off of a silly little mistake like that. And I mean, the heartbreaking thing is as well, the way that like knifing works is your first slash does the right amount of damage, but if you miss, it'll do less damage when you then hit it. So maybe could have worked out, but yeah, not quite the ideal situation. But rushing straight into this B bomb site here, Warwick able to get control, possibly get the bomb down in just a few seconds. Harold is left on low HP in the 3 versus 3, and the CTs as well, again, coming in with this one-dimensional retake and not very much utility.
Some very nice pushes coming out from Warwick. They have got the coordination to go for these plants and take up these post-plant positions. It's just that they're not quite able always to hold against the retakes from the Bath squad. And Seems like they're going to do just that again, but they're not going to fall for the smoke trick that they did in the first half. 2 kills already going over the T side. SOS sat near the bomb, but doesn't dare even tap it. Goes for the defuse. He's going to try and stick it. They're going to try and push it through. There goes the second defuse. Has to stick it now, but somewhat is there. Ready and waiting, lands the headshot. They pick up their guns and run away to the victory as the bomb does not quite go off and they allow themselves to save 2 AKs.
Yeah, you know, I think from the position that SOS was playing there, in all honesty, I think he could have held the defuse and won the round. You know, the benefit of hindsight that we have, obviously, but I mean, because he was in a little bit of an obscure location, and once you, as a terrorist, right, once you hit that spray down initially, you're just going to keep spraying into the same spot when someone is tapping the bomb away. So a little bit unfortunate, maybe kick himself when he watches the VOD back, but obviously it's impossible for him to know that he could have done that. But again, an opportunity here for Warwick to start getting some more rounds on the board and closing that gap, making sure they can string together a few rounds, only up against some P250s and not much else really. Mystery does have armor, so a chance maybe for him to save a rifle, but the odds of him doing a hell of a lot of damage in order to win this round are very, very slim indeed.
Playing up close. They've got 3 P250s on board for the Bath side. They do go for these close fights. They could come up against a lot of resistance, but seems like there's just going to melt the marshmallow withers over the campfire of Warwick as they push on through, take control of water. Deep Fry down to 1 HP. Mystery playing up close again, looking for the shots, but won't be able to get anything done. Harold just closes it down, and Olaf Meister finds a third as well. Yeah, this is pretty much over. Somewhat, we'll just clean it out. A pistol round, expected win there coming out from Warwick, and they are inching ever closer to evening up this scoreline. It's nice to see that what was a very, very convincing scoreline at the half go over a little bit more favorably for Warwick this time around.
Yeah, it seems the terrorist side of these two teams is certainly the stronger. And I feel like a lot of it comes down to, with these slightly more inexperienced players, a lot of it comes down to the economy management, right? Because they're able to get rifles out, but once their economy is slightly weaker, some of these rounds, they don't have as much utility as they would want. You know, you can see now at the moment, Bath with their buy, yes, they omit to get the head armor, but I think that's pretty much a given up against the AKs, right? Everyone kind of recognizes that at the higher levels of Counter-Strike, but they've got 2 smokes and 3 flashbangs among the 5 of them, so they're not going to be able to use those early, or if they decide to do that, they're then not going to be able to use them on the retake. So they have difficult decisions to make, whereas if everyone's got full utility, then you can be a little bit more complacent with how you use it.
Oh, they do push out a connector. 2 kills go over early. Mystery trades back for 1, but that lack of utility not able to stop the rushes coming through, and Olaf Meister just ducks on down below the spray, finds the headshot onto Ricochet. Marshmallow does trade him back though. Now 2 versus 3 on the retake. SOS and Marshmallow need to get themselves into position. Marshmallow on 5 HP though, so really very difficult to go for that. Sorry, 9 HP. Really difficult to go for the push, but SOS is going to do so nonetheless. Is already up towards the site. Will spot out Skeletal, but has the AWP trained, ready and waiting. Marshmallow is just going to fall on back. 1 versus 3, 9 HP. You know what's up. You just got to fall on away, and that's going to put Warwick into the double digits.
Yeah, unfortunately, just not really feeling it there on the retake. I feel like a save would have been a bit of a better idea. Marshmallow obviously on the 9 HP. SOS just sort of ran in, lost his rifle. Oh, and Marshmallow is going to go down in the end as well. So this economy now is really not looking good for the CT side. I think they should take a full eco here, but they're going for a bit more of a quasi-buy, right? Because they can. But I think, you know, we just saw in the last round, they were down on utility and whatnot and lost it.
Well, they will be up on max loss bonus at this point, so being at around that 2.5k mark isn't really too devastating here. They should be able to buy up, as you say, a little bit more utility and see if they can bring that to bear. But the pistols this round already starting to fall left and right somewhat. Finds 1, 2, and finally gets shut down by the 3rd. Ricochet will get the kill. That'll be a rifle over into the hands of Ricochet. Marshmallow starts to push up the short. That was a team nade actually doing a chunk of damage to Olaf Meister as they start to push on through. I think they might want to go for this retake, but Skeletal sees to it that rifle already down on the ground. As it's just Marshmallow now. ready to be roasted. Olaf Meister ready and waiting, will do just that. Warwick take yet another round with themselves on those 2 sticks, 11 rounds.
Yeah, I mean, they're getting closer and closer here. And as you can see, their economy now is so strong. So they can definitely afford, in terms of the finances, to lose a round.
Did Bath just buy 3 orbs? They did.
Yes. I mean, you missed this last season, actually. I will point out, but as Chris should corroborate in the chat, they had a tendency when they were down on rounds or it wasn't quite going right, they would all pick up AWPs.
Right.
When they could. It just seemed to be their tilt mechanism.
Well,
they just
they've
buy
already-
AWPs. And yeah, it works, apparently.
Yeah, well, he's already landed the shot onto Olaf Meister. It's going to be very difficult to get any more ground towards the middle side of the map, and they're operating towards long. So, in fact, these AWPs have the range advantage at this distance. They will be able to land those shots a little bit better than their counterparts on Warwick will be. SOS spots out their head. Disciplined fallback as well to bank, as they are aware of a little bit what's going on. The push out towards long is coming through, and Warwick setting up for the take on towards A site. The bomb over towards long will mean that they do need to push it on. Those smokes coming through. This is what Warwick love to do. Their bread and butter as they start to push it on through. Mystery jumps through the smoke, gets shut down immediately. As you would expect, an AWP at melee range isn't going to go well. Marshmallow is able to trade it back finally. The bomb not planted just yet. Harold does have a nice, sneaky little position out towards the CTs. Once that smoke clears, he should be going for this retake. Ricochet does spot out the back of Skeletal. But it's all on Harold. How many kills does he get? None is the answer as Deep Fry spots out the angle. SOS finds the third to back it up, and there's Bath with a lovely retake. Those AWPs raining on through.
I mean, I was going to say this is where having so many AWPs comes back to haunt you, right? On the retake. Especially on the close range angles, you know, Harold there. I think they did well to lead. Was it Deep Fry? I think who had the rifle to lead with him and allow him to pick up the kill, because it can be very difficult to trade an AWP player that's gone down. So really well played on the retake to lead with him. But I mean, yeah, it could have gone south for them with the AWPs on the retake. Luckily, the boost comes into fruition. And they're able to kind of hit the quick scopes, but it's you miss that shot and then you get sprayed down by an AK at close range, and that's pretty much the round over.
Which is exactly what happened to Mystery. I mean,
Exactly,
he pushed straight on through the smoke, tried to go for the no-scope, and saw 3 terrorists just bearing straight on down. And there's very little you can do in that situation, as you say. And that's something that Warwick do, actually, quite frequently. They go for these aggressive, all-at-once pushes. And playing AWPs against that is very, very difficult. You know, you're likely to maybe get 1 kill, but as soon as you're traded out, you give more than just your life. You give ground, and that is what wins these rounds, especially on the T side. If you're able to get that plant, if you're able to get the positions after the plant, it's just going to be so difficult for Bath to come back in and go for the retake. Oh, they finally updated their name on the server, so thanks for that. Just in time for them to pick up the first kill on Mystery.
Nice little flick coming in onto Musty, to be fair. Picks him up in mid-air. We've not had too many nice flick shots, must admit. It's been more kind of conventional AWP shots, somewhat up on the boost. I think if whoever that was would have stayed up on that boost, definitely would have gone down. The man advantage solidly in favour of the CT side right now as the B-rush comes in. Mystery missing shots left, right and centre. Olaf Meister will pick up 2 before going down, but Ricochet trades back 2 of his own. Brings it back into a 3 versus 2. Trying to go for the wallbang here. Marshmallow as well. Getting aggressive to deny the bomb plant. Will eventually find somewhat the planter. And now this Harold all by himself in the 1 versus 3. And such a key round here. The defuse coming in as well. He's creeping through that smoke. They get off of it because they didn't have the kit. But luckily Ricochet is there to finish Harold off. So 15-11, 4 match points. Bath University looking really strong going into the latter stages of this game.
Harold trying to play a little bit sneaky there was... Well, he knew that they didn't know exactly where he was, so instead of going for the spray down and alerting those 3 players to his presence, he was looking to get that early frag and then try and go for the 2 versus 1. Unfortunately, didn't pan out like that, and it's going to allow Bath University to put that 15th round up on the board. Give them their foot in the door to move towards that victory. The double AWPs this time as they go for a fast B-take on the Warwick side.
Ooh. Ricochet picking up the initial kill. Mystery as well with a double spray down. He's been loving those this game, and Ricochet and Mystery just shutting down that push in what could be the final round here. somewhat on 21 HP now. He's got it all to do, almost put out reloading around that corner, and Ricochet will finish him off. So that's going to be the game going the way of Bath in the end there, 16-11.
You say what could be the final round, I say what will be the final round. Bath University take a clean victory there over Warwick University. A little bit shaky in the middle though, so maybe not so super clean, but they do walk away going out the victors. So that's the end of game one. And I have to say, that anti-tilt tactic that you were talking about, buying those 3 AWPs, I think that paid off well for them.
It worked out in the end. Very lucky to win the retake in quite a key round there, in all fairness. But still, you know, if they can make it work, then, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of deal, I suppose. But yeah, so that's going to be it for our first game. Our second game, keep an eye on the chat. We'll keep you updated because it depends on how the fixtures have gone and whatnot. But we shouldn't be too long getting into that, hopefully. So do not go anywhere, and we will see you shortly in just a moment. I would have thought it says like 8:30, but I would have thought, you know, maybe some of the games will be starting to finish now, so we'll be able to kind of pick from the crop. Yeah. To be honest with you. So either way, thank you very much for joining us. Don't go anywhere. We won't be too long. See you shortly.
close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
like a Hellcat. Coming like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat. Coming like a Hellcat. Like a Hellcat.
I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own.
All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to our second game of the evening. We are going to be casting over York University and Lancaster University. Thankfully, they have changed York's name from last week. It was Rid Mush like 3 times, and it was just such a mouthful. Myself and Chris had a little bit of a fun time trying to remember that it was actually York. So it's good that they've now corrected that, I suppose. But either way, again, joined by John here. Another game on Overpass, which is slightly interesting, I suppose.
Seems to be the run. There seems to be the theme, doesn't it? It's apparently the favourite map of the Newell, but it is a decent map. It is a very heavily reliant on rotations map, and having the ability to work as a team can play absolutely into your court. So I'm not surprised to see it coming in at the level of the Newell. Lancaster University will be the ones to pick up the knife round as well, so they'll get a choice of sides, and it looks like they are just going to swap on over to the counter terrorists to kick it off.
Yeah, I mean, we saw last game, though, how almost unimportant the side pick was, right? Because the T side was definitely the stronger side for the two teams. Did eventually go the way of Bath on their CT side after a very strong T side, though. So it's kind of, you know, it all remains to be seen at this point. We always say that it's classically CT sided, but a lot of the maps in the meta of CS:GO are becoming more T sided. But either way, the T side aren't going to be rushing straight into the bomb site here. 2 kills going the way of Lancaster. They actually find 4 very quick kills. BCG is the only one to get a kill for his team left in this 1 versus 4 situation now. He's trying to get something done, but he's got very little utility, doesn't have the bomb, so he is essentially a CT on a bit of a retake.
It was a bit of a weird one, actually. They sort of went for, it seemed like a gauntlet through the B bomb site and forgot that they were supposed to stop in the middle. So he's ended up on the wrong side of the site. Hasn't got any of his team to back him up. Versus 4. He has a Glock to his name, and well, he has a little bit of a chance if he can get up close, but those shots popping off will land in the head of Oak. So he's now 1 versus 3. Does still have 65 HP. 49 seconds on the clock. He's got a decent shout into the game. Just clearing all his angles, playing very methodically, but it's not going to matter. Bullet between the eyes. We'll see to it that Lancaster take the pistol.
Yeah, I mean, as well, it was a little bit odd for us, right, from our perspective as spectators, because we stayed with BCG for most of that round, and the rest of his team just fell down around him, and unfortunately not able to recover there. Lancaster, of course, you know, if you've been keeping up with the Newell this year, won last season, so they are definitely a formidable opponent. Had a very one-sided game last week as well against the Warwick third team, I believe 16-4 in the end. So a really one-sided showing from them last week. Confidence is always going to be a sky high, I think, for this team. They've got some really good players. Tobbs, we always talk about how effective he is on the AWP, and Experilis, who is Big Iron on the left-hand side.
Changed his name
for some reason. Yeah, he had it last week as well. It seemed to be a bit of a name change, but Experilis is a very, very good clutch round player as well. So they have some pretty big names as far as the Newell goes, to be honest, on the CT side.
Yeah, I mean, well, Experilis has been around for Yonks, as is Enigma, and I believe Oak as well. They've been just there for ages and ages, going through these seasons consistently. So sticking to the university life, it seems to suit them well. And it seems to suit them well also to be playing Counter-Strike for their university. Although, no one's actually gone for any fights yet this far into the round. Bomb just being rotated down through connector. University of York trying to set up for a take what looks to be over towards the B bomb site. And they do have 3 players to hold them off. The boost up from University of York will mean that they are spotted out, and there is a little bit more info now available for Lancaster. That shot as well will give the game away as they go for the push. Rascalot finds the first pick, opening it up. QPC Matt will find 2, turns to the pistol, but it's going to be his downfall as LSW trying to find the kills. And he does just that. Enigma playing down low, Tobbs playing up high, and the double team works wonders as Enigma closes us down. Lancaster take the second round.
Yeah, a reasonably good round from both teams, in all fairness. I think they'll both be quite happy with that. Not very much brought up by York. They still managed to get the bomb down and do a little bit of economic damage. You know, we talked about last game, keeping that pressure on, especially on the CT side, because, you know, you've got Experilis here, and Matt as well, to be fair, are going to have to buy up into this round and hope that they can survive this round. And they've got the lesser weaponry, and it could be beneficial for University of York going into the first gun round. But still, obviously, getting that second round on the board, getting your conversion rounds rolling, Lancaster will be feeling good going into the first gun round.
Bomb moving as a unit. 5 men from York wandering down the long. Will be Oak to take the face as he peeks out. We'll spot at least 3 of them as they will fall it on back. There's the bomb being spotted out as well. The full rotate should be prompted by University of York. Tobbs to take face on long, but doesn't manage to get the spray down. Playing up close, the flash comes through, blinds at least 3 of them. They're going to push through the fire and the flames, and they will not be carrying on any further as Enigma finds 3. Tobbs closes it out with a deagle, and Lancaster just spray it on down.
Yeah, a much cleaner round that time, in all honesty. Enigma as well, loving those eco frags. He gets himself an extra $1,800 in the bank. But as you can see here, there might possibly... Okay, I thought there was maybe Tobbs was going to spread the economy a little bit. But because Experilis and Matt died in those 2... died in the second round, rather, they are now forced onto the FAMAS, right? Up against the 4 AKs, and the AWP could definitely come back to haunt them. So again, it's those little situations that can really make the big differences in the key rounds.
Coming up fully against the guns now. As FAMAS is maybe brought to bear at the disadvantage, but up close and personal is very little difference to be seen. Maybe a little bit of a lack of utility now from Lancaster as they do drop it early to dissuade a fast push from York. See Enigma not having any utility at all. Oak actually putting up aggressively on the long, and Tobbs missing that shot allows them a little bit more information. York will start to gain a foothold in the mid.
It's kind of the difference between the two games, right, and the effectiveness of Lancaster is they immediately in this gun round almost no respect, right? Oak getting so aggressive on long. If he goes down there, it can really sway the round in favor of York so early on, getting that long control. But luckily, Iwan missing the shot does allow him to get back safely, and it's just a game of info gathering now, very slowly making their way towards the B bomb site, very quietly as he execute. Might come raining in very shortly. They've got 25 seconds or thereabouts on the clock to get this done. So again, another close round as it comes down to the end of timer. LSW going to pick up 1 kill. Synonym for Tree as well will also help out clear out that B bomb site. So a 5 versus 3, make it a 5 versus 2 retake as the bomb goes down. And the immediate call to save there is a very clean round from University of York to get themselves on the board, make it 3-1.
A clean take from York late into the clock, allowing Lancaster to sweat it on out, and it seems like it paid off as well. 2 guns being saved from Lancaster means that they should be able to move a little bit more confidently into these next rounds. Fortunately as well, those 2 guns saved on some relatively low money players. So moving forwards, Lancaster should be able to buy up into the next round, but it will be the last one they're able to do so. If they lose another gun here, they won't be able to do it. They will just have to sit back on their laurels and see what they can pull out around whatever they remain on in their hands. University of York, however, saving all 5 rifles will just get that full economic strength moving forwards, putting their first round on the board.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. I think you can see the buy coming out for Lancaster. But I don't know. I think York are going to have to watch themselves because Lancaster have a tendency, and York could easily have done their homework here, right? Lancaster have a tendency to get very aggressive, even on the CT side. As soon as they lose a round, they just, come guns blazing into the next one to kind of push you back into the dirt. Tends to be the way that they go about things. Although they seem to be a little bit more passive, given slightly more respect than they would usually, perhaps because the scoreline is so close here. Rasclar is peeking round, eventually finds the head of Experilis, does get traded back by Tobbs, so back into a 4 versus 4, but the 1-for-1 trade always does work out in favor of that T side.
They managed to get the trade, as you say, and now York looking to set up towards this B site yet again, have thought better of it, and they rotate back up towards mid. They do have control of this connector entirely, which, as I said in the previous game, makes it so much easier for you to find those openings to go for those rotates and sort of put a spanner in the works, force the split up and go for those advantageous fights, 4 versus 2, 3 versus 2, as you force Lancaster to split up their forces and prioritize which site they're going to hold. And they need to be prioritizing the A site if they're going to be in with a chance of holding. I'm not sure if folks spotted that out. York push up the mid and go for the take on A.
Tobbs picking up BCG on the lurk there could definitely have a pretty huge effect as the rotates start to come in towards A. Oak holding it down pretty well so far. Synonym for a Tree will clean the scalp of Matt straight off, bring it back into a 3 versus 2, but it's kind of in favor of Lancaster here, especially because that bomb is so far away and time is kind of the essence at this point. It's a fair amount of utility for the T side remaining, and the CT's playing passively, I think, is still going to allow them to get the bomb down despite that small mistake. Not very much time remaining as they do it, but still get that bomb down in the 3 versus 2 situation. Now Tobbs as well with the AWP on the retake. Synonym for a Tree, not able to find anything, so it's all on LSW in the 1 versus 3.
Does have the opportunity though, playing up the mid, and all 3 players on the site should be able to spot it out and close it down. But Tobbs is so vigilant there, knew exactly where he'd be waiting and just popped the shot off like it wasn't no thing. And Lancaster University put the 4th round on the board, shut down the win from York as well. But as I said in the previous round, they do have that economic backing because, of course, they did manage to save all 5 rifles in that gun round that they won, which meant that they are able to full buy yet again. No AWP, however, will be allowed to them. So they are playing full rifles, full aggro. I think we're going to see them over towards... Oh, maybe not. They're going to rotate. They're going to change it up to the A site. Instead, try and find that opening into mid.
It seems something that Lancaster could really catch on to here is if they spot BCG almost like the old NIP, right? You see BCG, then the rest of the team might be towards the A-bomb site because he has been on the lurk quite often. But he does eventually join up with his team as they're going for a quick A hit. Very little utility being used. They're just running straight in. Enigma caught swapping weapons or whatever that was, sending him for a tree. Really lucky to pick up that one. BCG as well catches Explorillis with no ammo. So some pretty lucky kills for this T side here. Brings us into a 4 versus 2. Oak and Matt with it all to do, but Matt has been hiding on short for oh so long. Does decide to peek straight out. Oak is right behind him as well. The smoke goes down onto the bomb. The kit in hand. His teammate has fallen, and he will get traded. So Matt, unfortunately, good positioning from the CTs there, but not able to take it in the end.
A nice little pickup coming through from University of York. I had high hopes for that flank as well from Oak, from long. They had the opportunity to smoke off mid, to try and get some more ground and take that face at an advantage. But as it stood, they took 1 versus 2s, and just came off all the worse for it. They had a little bit of a weird incoherence there going on that wouldn't expect from Lancaster, but there you are. They do take the loss on this round, and York trying to capitalize.
Against the pistols now as well, rushing up short. Explorillis going to find himself 1 kill, unfortunately not able to find another, as LSW are going to clean up that position pretty easily. The CZ coming out though. Enigma will pick up 2, brings it back into a 3 versus 2 in favor of his team. No rifles required, acquired rather, as of yet. It's still doable here. Enigma as well with a 3rd for the round, all on BCG, and he gets himself 1 degged also. So the pistols there from Lancaster really coming into fruition. Really strong play from them.
Up close, they will be able to find their strength. Lancaster University, they, as you say, they've been at the top of the scene for so long in the university leagues that, you know, you sort of forget that you can expect this sort of play coming out from them a lot of the time, but it just comes through, and it's beautiful to see because they are going to allow themselves to get back into this one with a little bit of an advantage. Tobbs taking the face, will get 1, turns it on for a second, spray down. BCG trades him back. But Oak is there, and that brings us into a 3v2. Now, 2 men left in the mid. And Lancaster have to split their forces. If University of York can find the 2 versus 1, they'll be in with a much better chance of going for it. But if Explorillis is able to find the advantageous position, they could be absolutely devastating here. He's heard them out. Spots 1, gets the headshot, turns the spray, but LSW gets the better of him.
In the off angle, finds that kill there. LSW now has got to deal with Matt on this B bomb, so I think Matt is going to patiently wait for him to get that bomb down. The fake coming in, but LSW just not prepared for the positioning of Matt. An easy kill in the end there, and 6-2 as we get into round number 9 in favour of Lancaster. They do well to win that round back. And now York going to be on the reset. Unfortunately, their economy not looking too hot, so they're probably going to end up losing another round here as well. So looking good for Lancaster in the first half here.
Yeah, they are certainly doing good work so far into this game. And number 9, and that molly will do a lot of damage, as will the nade. It does trade back, triple kill, goes over to the incendiary grenade. XPC is not going to be too much more difficult for him to just clean it on up. And that's the power of the utility coming out from Lancaster University.
I think Explorillis had the ace in his eyes there. Unfortunately not able to get a single kill with the rifle itself, but the Molotov burning over does at least get him a triple kill. So some nice little eco frags there. York buying up now, of course. No AWP yet again. Their economy still not in the ideal position that they would want it to be in, compared to that Lancaster economy especially. But still, the AKs are the formidable weapon, the one tap potential. Quick play up short from LSW. Not able to find anything as of yet.
Just playing a little bit more passively. University of York spreading out, not going for the aggressive play that they did last time. They do want to make sure that they get this rifle round under their belt, because of course if they lose this, they will be in pretty dire straits in terms of their economy. They'll be giving over yet another round, and you're looking at like a 10-2 scoreline at the point where they're going to be able to recover, and it's just not going to go well. That's not the way you want to start it off. Already you've lost Iwan in that middle position. With a nice forward placement from Oak, that FAMAS will be able to find the frag, and University of York, they need to pick up their pace.
There's a little bit too much solo play, I think, at this point in such key rounds here from York. You know, the T side, I think it's Henry G really sings the praises of the buddy system, right? Make sure that you're always there with at least one friend. Flash has come in, though. Friendship will definitely prevail here for BCG. They're getting onto that B bomb site. Synonym for Tree picks up another one as well. Matt and Oak, though, are here to hold it down. Oak dropping the bomb, picking up 2, finds the final kill with the USP as well, and gets himself a 4K for the round. All the way from A at the start of the round. A beautiful rotate as well allows him to get that triple kill.
Fantastic showing from him. The Tree standing tall. Lancaster University again at this 8-2 scoreline, and as I said, University of York, they can't afford to buy into this round. They're getting some pistols on board, but we all remember what happened last time. I don't think they're going to be going towards Monster in a rush, and you can see instead they're going to be moving over towards Fountain. Tobbs will take the face, will find one, will be backing off straight away because he sensed something. Oaks is there as well to back him up. Chucks the AK over towards him as well, so a nice little swap over. Oak just going to get taken down, as is Tobbs, and York have already stormed through the mid.
Yeah, 4 versus 3 now. They've also got their hands on the 2 rifles that they downed, but they don't need them. Synonym for a Tree with the CZ picks up 2, gets his hands on an M4. Now 4 versus 2 as the bomb goes down. Still a fair amount of utility on this CT side, but they're definitely up against it at the moment. Not looking too hot. The Molotov almost picks up Synonym for a Tree, forces him out of position. He will eventually go down. So that's the first kill secured. They've still got a player in bank that they've got to deal with. Second found as well. Back into a 2 versus 2. They do have the kits and the smoke to play the bomb. They'll be getting the tap in soon. Rasplat, though, will take down Experilis, and now Matt is just going for the hold in the smoke. They're not going to be able to find him, and he gets to defuse before going down in the end. A heartbreaking loss for University of York, and that just seems to be the storyline of this game, that it's just so sad. York is so very close in those rounds. 4 versus 2, and they still lose it out.
Unfortunately, they didn't manage to get the spray down through the smoke, but that was that should have been University of York's round to take. As you say, they should have been on those trays. They should have been able to get it, but the early game for them went incredibly well. The forwards positioning from both Tobbs and Oak was absolutely beautifully punished by York, and if they can do that again, they're in with a shot into this round as well.
Oak on the edge of this smoke, though, has picked up one, not able to find another one. An absolute mess as he runs through to find Iwan completely unawares. Now got to make his way back through, picks up a third as well, doing huge damage here for his team. His teammates are falling down around him, and he will eventually go down. So it's back into a 2-on-2, but Oak doing a lot of damage, dropping that bomb, really putting a spanner in the works. Rasklar as well is only on 23 HP, so Big Iron, Experilis, and Matt definitely do have a chance going into this one if they're able to read the rotate. Experilis as well with an opportunity to catch out both these players.
Take the push, will go for the spray, so it's one down, and now it's just BCG. They've spotted him out completely. He will be able to get onto the bomb site. Drops the smoke, watching through heaven, getting the plant as well. That will be heard out by Matt. We'll continue to push on. BCG wary of that heaven position, doesn't think he's rotated this far. If Matt's a little bit quiet, a little bit sneaky, he could be able to catch him off guard here. Might be able to spot out a barrel. He will see it. Turns the corner, but it's not going to be quite quick enough. 22 HP will be enough to see you through, my friend. Need to find the bomb first before you actually go for the defuse. There you go. Managed to actually pick it up there, but Lancaster University put that 10-2 scoreline on the board. And so far, they are absolutely devastating the side of University of York.
Yeah, I mean, it seems, as some people in the chat have been pointing out, Lancaster definitely winning the War of the Roses here. At this point, a little bit of a derby match, I suppose, between these two universities. But I don't know. I think York needs to get these remaining 3 rounds. Otherwise, they're just going to be in a very similar situation as we saw Bath in the previous game, where they'll just have their backs up against the wall and Lancaster can kind of coast their way through, maybe lose a couple rounds here and there on their T side, and then when they need to, can just pick it up and eventually win the game. So these next 3 rounds, York need to secure, in all honesty.
Lancaster University have some excellent use of utility over towards Monster. They seem to be smelling out these B pushes really beautifully and are able to deal with it. You saw the incendiary grenade dropped at the start and then dropped the smoke as well, and they are going to go for the push. Goes through the smoke, the execute comes through, the smoke's dropped down, the wall of smoke continues, but Enigma will slide on through. Matt finds one over the top, turns it on for a second. The push from Synonym for Retreat comes around the side, but already they've fallen, and Lancaster University stand strong. The Rose of York wilting.
Yeah, I mean, just walking straight into the meat grinder there, unfortunately. Not really able to get anything done. They only pick up 1 kill on the side of York, and perhaps at this point, their kind of morale and passive nature as well, the lack of confidence that they've got in themselves, is really playing into the hands of Lancaster, because as we know, with them, you know, obviously being the champion of last season, you give them that room and that opportunity to maneuver, and they will just take it straight from you. Especially on Overpass, it's a home map for them, to be honest.
They will already take a loss at the start. Experilis lands a tap to the skull of Iwan. That is already a 3 versus 5. No HP damage so far onto Lancaster. They have very much got this round wrapped up already. It's 3 versus 5, and they've been struggling in these 5 versus 5 pushes. Enigma close and to the right. Will get spotted out, but not before he's done the damage. Brillis will trade it back, find another as well, and that is a brilliant hold yet again from Lancaster University, moving into the last round of the half.
Just not able to break through the defenses at all on the side of York. They get maybe the 1 trade, but then it just kind of all falls apart from there. The crossfires are far too strong on this Lancaster side. They are working so well off of each other. Their CT side, you know, again, seeing a very reactive style of CT side, but they don't have to do much reacting, right? Because they're just able to find the shots, and no one is punishing them on that University of York side. So going into the final round here, potential of a 13-2 half, especially as Oak picks up that first kill. Tobbs with a double spray down as well. Gets his hands on the AK, not able to find the third. But he's definitely done the damage for the round, as it's a 4 versus 2. Rascalot and LSW, they do have a fair amount of utility. They've got the bomb in hand. But LSW, as you probably noticed, has got himself a Galil, which is not ideal. I think he's trying to pick up an AK. So maybe we've seen Lancaster win out a 4 versus 2 situation. There is definitely a chance that York could do it if they can find the shots. Hoke as well on 16 HP, so it's not all lost.
They have spotted out Rascalot on long. Enigma just jumping over the SWAT van. Will spot it out. LSW waiting in the wings over towards bathrooms. There goes the Molotov, but the smoke there to counter it, forcing Rascalot to take a close angle. A little bit less advantageous. LSW drops the smoke, allowing him to push out of bathrooms. Trying to find the angles. Rascalot exposes a shoulder. No more than that, as LSW is able to push on up. Enigma has taken down his teammate, and Enigma will take him down as well. Lancaster University close out the half in style. 13-2 now is the scoreline. Only 3 rounds remaining for them to pick up if they're going to take home this best of 1.
That scoreboard is really a sight to see at the end of the half there. Yeah, the pistol needs to go the way of York. I think, like you say, it is almost goes without saying at this point. And you can see towards the end of that half as well, York, their communication really deteriorating. Enigma was just able to easily clean up that round, which when he's in such close proximity, you feel like he should at least have been traded in that situation. But again, this confidence of York perhaps just not all there at this point. LSW trying to get a bit aggressive towards middle. He's going to get absolutely punished. He does pick up 1, luckily. But Matt will drop him. The trade 1-for-1 works out in favor of the T side here, as that A bomb site has only got 1 immediate player defending it. BCG will find the head of Matt. The rotate's coming in now as well, so Lancaster need to be fast with this bomb plant. They will eventually get the bomb down, but it's up to Tobbs, up to Experilis on his own now. He's only able to find 1, however, and that will be the round going the way of York. So they do manage to win it out in slightly clean fashion, to be fair. Not quite what I was expecting. Rascart especially picks up 2, but some very crisp headshots.
Some sort of haphazard post-plant positioning there from Lancaster University. That seems like they were just relying on their trades and they didn't go their way at the start. Because of course, if you rely on your trades, even if you're significantly better, you're still taking a 60-40 fight. 65-25 at 35 at best. And at that stage, you do lose some of these rounds, and that's exactly what we saw there. Lancaster University relying much more on their skill advantage than on playing it safe and playing it sensibly. You can see again they're going for long. Synonym for a tree has that M4. He's going to have a massive advantage when it comes to the range here. Will spot out one, but instead actually opts to fall it on back instead of going for the range duels. Doesn't want to be popped in the skull by one of those P250s.
Again, it's that confidence issue, not really sure of themselves here. The flash comes in, though. Synonym for a tree able to pick up 1, as Iwan will fall into a 4 versus 3. 2 HP on Tobbs as well. And up against no armor, you would kind of give it to the superior weaponry of York in this situation. It might have been, perhaps an option to just force straight up into this one and keep that economic pressure on. I'm going to finish off the round there with a triple kill. Loving those eco frags. And York will get a 4th on the board. Still a monumentous mountains climb here, and I think really goes without saying they cannot drop around for quite some time. They need to get that scoreline a hell of a lot closer before they can afford to lose a round.
It wouldn't be the end of the world if they lost this round here. They don't really have the economy to push forwards, as they didn't really... they bought up quite a few M4s this round. But it wouldn't be the end of the world. They would be able to buy those FAMASs and... the FAMASs if they so choose. But as you say, it's just not the situation you want to find yourself in. They need to hold strong, and if Lancaster can find an opening, you can bet with your bottom dollar that it will... be something that they seize with both hands.
Where did
apparently
Matt just get a headshot?
they just don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. They're practicing their headshots. Don't worry about it.
There's not much action going down. York, of course, still kind of have that confidence, a little bit lackluster, a little bit shaky around the edges. In all honesty, Enigma will pick up Rasclar from the short position, I believe, through the wall there with the spam. So it brings it into a 5 versus 4, as they now have this round by the tail and definitely have control of how it's going to go. The execute coming into the B-bomb site as well. Molotov does go down from BCG, but unfortunately they're all over towards short. He will pick up 1 before going down, and that B-bomb site almost in the grasp of Lancaster. Taking down LSW will secure it for them. Synonym for a tree. Picks up Enigma for 1 HP, and he is out of there. He's just going to save that M4, and this is really not the outcome that York wanted in this round.
No, they will take a heavy loss there. As I said before, they should be able to buy up FAMASs, maybe UMPs into this next round, but it's going to be really tricky for them to play any further than that. I mean, Lancaster University, they have got the economy. They don't have the economy to go for sort of a full buy next round, despite winning this one. I'm expecting to see a lack of utility coming through potentially from them. They will struggle a little bit. So University of York do have the opportunity to capitalize on that by playing for that late game, but by playing potentially for the retakes in the round and seeing what they can get early on with those aim duels.
It's still going to be very, very difficult, to be honest. It's not ideal. Their economy on the York side is just in tatters at this point. 3 UMPs, 1 kit. But like you say, they need the early Angels to go their way, unfortunately, which is not... It can happen, but again, it's not a reliable way of playing Counter-Strike to have that individual kind of pop-off, because it ends up with plays like this. LSW does pick up 2, but Rascart gets himself a little bit aggressive. Gets taken down. It's back into a 3-on-3 with 1 minute and 30 seconds or thereabouts remaining on the clock.
They didn't have any more pressure towards Connector, which means that they'd got 2 picks, but the pressure has pretty much evened out here. So University of York still very much strong in this round. They have the 3 versus 3. They've now all got rifles on board, with LSW training out that UMP for an AK picked up off the dead bodies of Lancaster. It's a winnable round for them. They very much have a chance to go here. 3 smokes to contend with. They do have a little bit of utility left on York. so they can opt to go for that retake. And again, Lancaster just playing a little bit slow, playing careful, playing a little bit laid back, and they are eventually going to start to step up towards bathrooms, towards mid, and see what they can find.
Well, Tob's trying to bait out with a smoke from A there, but I think someone must have spotted the trajectory of it from the CT side as they've actually rotated over towards A. Iwan picks up one, almost gets the second. It's now just left on Experilis on 7 HP. The bomb as well, right in front of Synonym for a tree hit, and he will eventually pick up Experilis. So 14-5 now. York win out another round. You know, they're still on this comeback climb, and really, if they want to win this game, obviously can't lose a round here, right? It's going to go to overtime if they go 15. If they lose a round and end up going 15-15. But it's still looking good. You know, they've got a chance here to pick up a couple rounds up against the weaker buy and the weaker economy of that Lancaster side.
They're playing up close and personal, though. They're pushing out. Not taking any prisoners here as they play aggressive towards water. University of York trying to keep hold of the map so far. You see they smoked off the sewer there, stopping any aggression coming through. Lancaster playing back towards Connector. Will actually manage to find an opening frag onto Rasklar with that Deagle shot, landing straight on through. So already they've split up York, but there is a flank coming out around. They do need to be careful for if they spend too much time trying to go for those picks, their back flank will be exposed and they will be vulnerable. They need to try and decide what they want to do and just go for it if they want to win this round.
I think what we're seeing here from York, though, is they're not quite sure how they want to achieve the round win. So they're going to play passively and just work with crossfires, or are they going to pull out some early round aggression? And being unsure of yourself is what is allowing Lancaster to really, you know, keep the pressure on, keep their foot on the gas, as the Americans would say, and take a lot of these rounds. A kill does go the way of LSW, though, so evening up the man advantage into a 4 versus 4, and the superior weaponry of York as well. You would expect them to bode well going into the latter stages of the round, but still all remains to be seen. LSW doing work so far, picks up himself a 3rd kill, and now it's just on Experilis in the 1 versus 2. Gonna get that bomb plant at the very least, so a bit more money in the bank for his team. Finds the tag over onto Iwan, but unfortunately the scout, obviously not a one-shot kill, so it doesn't work out. In the end, he gets pushed and taken down.
Now, they do limit the economy somewhat, though. You can see University of York's money isn't in the best situation here. They will be able to full buy again, but it is being limited. So Lancaster, just if they can keep doing that, I'm expecting them to come out with some pistols here, and maybe some armor as well coming on through, just to keep that pressure up. Because if they can keep the amount of money that University of York have down to a minimum, we're going to see things like a lack of utility. We're going to see things like diffuse kits not being picked up, helmets not being picked up, and that's the sort of thing you can capitalize on with UMP buys and with utility of your own. And Lancaster, just keep that pressure up. They're going to be able to keep it on rolling. They already have 14 rounds on the board, remember. They are very much still in the lead of this.
This is such a good read as well. They just rush straight up short. There's actually no one on this bomb site. They're going to hear 2 players over towards long. It was York that decided to get a bit aggressive. Experilis is going to pick up Iwan. Synonym for a tree, only able to get 1 before getting taken down. And a 4 versus 3 as the bomb has gone down. Some really good post-plant positions from the terrorist side here as well. Now the retake has to come in. It has to be successful for York here. Ooh, the nade tags Enigma down to 3, and he actually picks up a kill. So he's done his work for this round for sure. Back into a 3 versus 2. There are kits in the hands of the remaining 2 CT side players, but Rasklar doesn't secure that kill. The defuse is coming in, but Experilis will pick up BCG, and I think, John, that is going to secure this game for Lancaster, in all honesty.
That is the strength of limiting the economy as well. University of York have nothing left in the coffers. They're going to have to chuck it all at this round, though. It's BCG still on 2.3k. You've got Rasklar on 3.2 as well. The FAMAS coming out, but that is the strongest weapon. There's a lack of utility, and that's exactly what I was saying with the economy. If they lose this one, that's pretty much it. That's curtains. Lancaster University very much in the driving seat now. They just need to play it safe, play it cool, find those picks, and try not to go for those close range engages that will shine for the CZs, for those SMGs as well.
Yeah, they have to, you know, play the weaponry that they've got use the utility, take it slow, still give that respect to York. It may be, 15-6, 9 rounds between them, but you still have to appreciate that York is a formidable side. As you can see, LSW picks up Matt over on short, not able to save the rifle, but getting the early kill definitely bodes well for his team. Remaining T-side trying to make their way over towards Fountain, in towards middle. Iwan has something to say about that, but unfortunately will go down. So all even now. Rascal as well, in some kind of an exchange, has been tagged down rather to 9 HP. So 4 versus 4, but definitely in favour of Lancaster here.
I'm still expecting these trades to go in the favour of Lancaster. They need to set up. They do have 2 smokes still available. University of York only with that incendiary. Over on BCG, they don't even have the helmets available. And Synonym for a tree, though. He's not done. Has the CZ in hand, but finally gets shut out. 1-for-1 trade yet again. They're forcing out the player from Bank. They have the bomb. They're pushing away from Bathrooms, and BCG could find himself being bared down on. Finds 1, 2, and 3 with a close range spray down, and he's able to style it out. The University of York are not quite done. No, sir. 7 rounds on the board. They've got quite a way to go, though.
The hero play, perhaps, that might possibly, you never know, pull them back into this one, but at least one for the highlight reel there for BCG. A great flank from him to catch out Lancaster on the rotate. Pretty decent buy here from Lancaster, apart from Enigma. His personal economy seems to be a bit out of kilter with everyone else, to be honest, but still the one-tap potential of the AKs, and they have that kind of 8-round cushion at this point where they can be a bit risky. If they have to have one player on a CZ, then so be it. Whereas University of York, it is all to play for here, obviously. Cannot lose a round and really have to keep it together. And even if they win a round, they still need to keep as many players alive as possible so that their economy is strong enough to win another round after that, and so on and so forth. So there's a little bit of added pressure. Flash comes in. Rascal, so unlucky to not win that fight. Leaves Oak on 6 HP outside Monster.
He's going to be able to drop down the smoke to block off any further pushes coming through. So if he's able to just sit on the coattails, he should be able to go for the trade kills as well. Lancaster University trying to spot out Synonym for a tree. Will do just that as he is going to turn around the corner. But Matt is going to deal with him. Swiftly wiped off the map. They push up towards the A-bomb site. Lancaster already starting to get the plant, but Iwan on the site will spray 1. On tries to find a second. Big Iron Experilis will come on through as well, but now it's just BCG left between University of York and a defeat here. Lancaster University, 4 players will be able to close it down, and Tobbs does just that. The headshot lands, and Lancaster University take yet another convincing victory. 16-7 is the scoreline, and they are looking set to be one of the favorites moving into this season.
Yeah, I mean, it seems they've still got that skill that we know, not lost anything. Nothing has gone wrong within the team. And a really good showing yet again, and a really good showing last week as well. So it would be interesting to know how their first game of the evening went, but I can imagine a rather decisive victory because, of course, the way that it works is, winners play winners. And losers play losers. So, if they beat a team worse than York in theory, then who knows how that could have gone. But yeah, Overpass, definitely a home map for them. I think if you're going to be up against Lancaster, you should be thinking about banning that one out, in all honesty. And again, they've got all these players that just seem to come alive. Tobbs in that game, very, very quiet, right? Only 11 kills, which is not what we're used to seeing because he's one of the stronger names in that team. But Enigma and Oak, and Experilis had a good few rounds as well, just able to, I think all the players on that team are able to come alive and put everyone else in the backpack, so to speak, if they need to. So they're definitely a very, very tough opponent to beat.
Well, I'm glad we were able to see that. That was actually quite a nice game. There were some points in there where it sort of felt like it was relatively even, but you just then look back at the scoreline and you, hang on a minute, it was a 16-7 game. Something that I think that went very well for Lancaster was that they were able to continually find the picks. Even when they lost rounds, they were able to just keep that economic, that bankroll from building up at all in those rounds that they were losing. And it's something that they weren't able to do on the York side. They had to really struggle through those rounds, and the ones that they did win, as I say, they weren't able to really do as much damage as they needed to. And unfortunately, it was just superior, I think, planning and game sense that came through for Lancaster there. Some great shot calling, and I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to bring to this season.
Yeah, really good coordination, I think, as a team is like the key thing that puts them a little bit higher above some of the other teams, winning 4 versus 2 clutches, 4 versus 3, when they are, the team that has the man disadvantage, still able more often than not to pull the victory through. But either way, that's going to be it from John and myself for this week. Do join us same time next week, 7:15 GMT is when we start. We'll be running another couple of games before I believe we start to get into closer and closer to the playoff stages. But either way, that's been it from us. Thank you very much if you've been here since the beginning. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, as always, it has been a beautiful pleasure. Do be sure to follow all the social medias and whatnot of the Newell to keep up to date with everything that is going on. And if you've got an interest in other esports, be sure to check out our League of Legends and Overwatch games as well. But either way, thank you very much, John, for joining me. And that has been it from us, and we'll see you next week.